Guide, why does time feel faster as you get older? Like, when I'm waiting for summer vacation, it seems to take forever. But my aunt says the years just fly by for her now.
That's a great question. It's something everyone notices at some point. Time itself doesn't actually speed up. It's our feeling of it that changes with age. When you're a kid, like you are now at 10 or 11, every day can feel stretched out because so much is new. Remember last summer? It probably seemed endless, right? You had all those firsts, maybe your first bike ride without training wheels, or building that huge fort in the backyard. Those moments stick because they're fresh.
Yeah, last summer did feel super long. We went to the lake, and even the car ride there took ages. But for grown-ups, it's different?
Exactly. For adults, weeks and months can blur together. Think about it. When you're young, a single year is a big chunk of your whole life. If you're 10, that's 1/10 of everything you've known so far. But for someone who's 40, a year is just 1/40th, tiny in comparison. It's like looking at a long road versus a short path. The road feels endless when you're just starting out, but once you've walked it a lot, the miles zip by without you noticing.
So it's because I've lived fewer years? But time seems the same to everyone. Like the clock ticks the same no matter what. Why would age change how it feels?
I get why you'd think that. The clock doesn't care about birthdays. But our brains do. It's not just the numbers, it's how we measure time against our experiences. As kids, you're soaking up the world like a sponge. School days drag because you're learning so many new things. Math tricks, new friends, that weird science project with the volcano. Each one makes time feel fuller, slower. For grown-ups, though, life often settles into patterns. Work, bills, the same commute. Those days blend like colors in a painting you don't look at closely anymore.
Oh, like how weekends feel quick now. But when I was little, even playing outside for an hour seemed like the whole day.
Spot on. When you were 5, an hour was a 1/12 of your whole day. Huge. Now at 10, it's more like a 20th, so it slips by faster. And weekends for adults? They vanish because they're sandwiched between busy workdays. My old teacher friend told me about his childhood summers in the countryside. He'd chase fireflies at night, and it felt like those warm evenings lasted weeks. But now, as an older guy, his weekends are just quick errands and back to routine. It's proportional, you see. Your life so far is shorter, so each bit feels bigger.
That makes sense. So kids get more time out of the same hours because everything's new and our lives are shorter?
Yes, you've got it. It's like eating a small pie versus a big one. A slice of the small pie is a lot of your meal, but on the big pie, it's just a nibble. Childhood years loom large in our minds for that reason. But here's something interesting. Not all time feels slow just because you're young. It's tied to what fills those hours.
What do you mean? Like, if I'm bored, time crawls even slower.
Exactly. Boredom stretches it out in a not-so-fun way. But the real magic happens with exciting stuff. Remember that time you tried a new game at recess and the bell rang before you knew it? Or was it the opposite?
Wait, new things. Do they make time feel different too? Like, why do adventures stretch it out more?
Oh, they absolutely do. New things can make time feel like it's stretching out, almost like taffy you pull on. Let me explain with a story from my own kid days. When I was about your age, my family took a trip to the beach for the first time. I'd never seen waves crash like that, or built a sandcastle so tall it toppled over twice. The whole day felt endless because every wave, every shell I found, was a brand new discovery. My brain was buzzing, filing away all those details. But if we'd gone back the next year, it would have felt shorter, more familiar.
So it's because your brain is learning stuff? Like paying extra attention?
You've nailed the heart of it. Our brains process new experiences slower because they're novel. They stand out. Think of your memory like a photo album. When something's brand new, like trying ice skating for the first time and wobbling all over the rink, you snap tons of mental pictures. The cold air on your cheeks, the way your legs shook, that one perfect glide. All those vivid memories make the event feel longer when you look back. But if it's routine, like tying your shoes every morning, it barely registers. Poof. No pictures, no lasting sense of time spent.
That sounds right. Like at school, the first day of a new unit on dinosaurs, hours drag because I'm dying to know if T-Rexes had feathers. But by the end of the week, drawing the same volcano again feels quick and boring.
Feathers on T-Rexes. Now that's a fun debate. Exactly. Novelty packs in more memories per minute. Scientists say it's because your brain's attention is heightened. It slows down how you perceive the passing seconds to take it all in. It's like watching a movie in slow motion versus fast forward. Adventures create that slow-mo effect. Remember your birthday last year? The anticipation built up, and the party itself probably felt packed with moments. Cake, games, that surprise gift. Looking back, it seems like it lasted forever, compared to a regular Tuesday.
Yeah, birthdays do feel huge. But I've had fun before, like playing tag with friends, and sometimes the recess bell rings too soon. Why doesn't fun always slow time down?
Good catch. That's a common mix-up. Fun alone isn't the key. It's newness combined with it. If tag is the same old chase every day, your brain tunes it out, and time slips away fast, like pages flipping in a book you've read 100 times. But add something fresh, like inventing a new rule where you have to hop on one foot? Suddenly it's memorable, and those minutes expand in your mind. I once taught a class where we built a mini rocket from baking soda and vinegar. The kids swore it took hours to launch, but the clock said 20 minutes. Their brains were so engaged with the fizz and whoosh, pure novelty, that time stretched.
Oh, I get it now. So routines make memories fuzzy and blend together, while new stuff carves them deep.
Precisely. Routines compress time, because fewer unique snapshots mean, when you reflect, the days mash into one blurry week. Novel events, though? They create bookmarks in your life story, making periods feel fuller, slower. It's why vacations often seem longer in hindsight than the calendar says. My nephew, who's 12, went ziplining last month, first time ever. He talked about that one zip for days, saying the forest blurred by in slow motion. Those thrills etched it in.
Cool. So if I try something new, like learning to juggle, it'll make my afternoons feel longer?
It sure can. Start small. Maybe juggle socks first. Your brain will light up, processing each toss as a fresh challenge. And boom, more memories packed in. That's the beauty. We can tap into that kid-like stretch anytime by seeking out the new. But it does make me wonder, what happens when days start blending into sameness more often?
Blending into sameness? Like when school gets all the same, reading the same kind of books every week?
You've hit it right on the head. When life turns into a loop of the usual, same breakfast, same bus ride, same homework grind, those days start to melt together, like ice cream on a hot sidewalk. You don't notice the time passing because nothing stands out to mark it. Remember how I said new stuff creates those mental snapshots? Well, routines skip that step. Your brain goes on autopilot, barely logging the details. So when you look back at a month later, it feels like it whooshed by in a blink.
Yeah, like last winter break. I thought it'd be fun, but we just watched movies and played the same video game levels over and over. Now it seems like it was only a few days, not 2 weeks.
Exactly that. Routines make years feel shorter because they build up fewer unique memories to fill the space. It's like stacking identical blocks. After a while, the tower looks the same height no matter how many you add. As you get older, this happens more. Think about a grown-up's job. Same desk, same emails, same coffee break. Those weeks blend into a hazy streak. And here's another layer. Older folks have way more years behind them to measure against. A year at your age is a big slice of the pie, but at 50, it's a thin wedge compared to the whole massive pie of life so far. That comparison shrinks it in your mind.
So, routines are just normal, though. Like, everyone's gotta eat dinner or go to bed. They shouldn't make time speed up, right? It's still the same 24 hours.
I hear you. Routines keep the world running, don't they? Brushing teeth, packing lunch. Boring, but necessary. But the thing is, when everything's predictable, your brain doesn't bother storing much. It's efficient, sure, but it robs you of that sense of duration. Let me tell you about my grandma. She used to say her days as a young mom dragged with all the new chaos. First steps, scraped knees, endless diaper changes. But in her later years, after Grandpa passed, her routine was set. Garden in the morning, knit in the afternoon, supper at 6. She blinked, and decades were gone. Time's a thief in the quiet times, she'd whisper. Those familiar days didn't leave landmarks, so the years compressed like an old accordion folding shut.
Wow, that sounds kind of sad. So, as I get older, if my days get more the same, like maybe the same job every day, will my years start feeling super short too?
They can, if you let them slide into that autopilot mode. Older age piles on more past experiences, so each new year has to compete with a huge backlog. It's like adding a single page to a thick novel versus starting a fresh notebook. The thick one? That page feels tiny. Kids like you have fewer pages, so additions stand out more. Routines amplify this by blurring the edges. No sharp memories to say, oh yeah, that happened then. My brother, who's in his 30s now, works at an office. He says Mondays to Fridays vanish into a fog, and suddenly it's holiday season again. But he remembers his college days vividly because every weekend brought something wild. A road trip, a late-night study cram with pizza. Those broke the routine, etched the time deep.
I see. Like, if I do the exact same recess game every day, the whole week might feel like one long blur when I think back.
Spot on, kiddo. Familiar days blend because your mind skips the play-by-play. Fewer unique memories mean less to unpack later, so periods shrink in reflection. And with age, that backlog grows. Your 20s feel swift compared to your 10s because there's so much history diluting the new stuff. It's why adults often say, "Where did the time go?" Not because clocks changed, but because the routine-built tower of identical days makes the height deceptive.
Okay, that clicks. So all those same old days stack up without me noticing, especially when I've got more years to look back on. But if routines do this, is there a way to shake things up and slow it back down? Okay, that clicks. So all those same old days stack up without me noticing, especially when I've got more years to look back on. But if routines do this, is there a way to shake things up and slow it back down?
There sure is, and it's simpler than you might think. The key is to sprinkle in a bit of novelty and reflection to make your days richer, like adding sprinkles to plain ice cream. It turns the ordinary into something memorable. Start by seeking out small new things every day. Maybe take a different path home from school. Try a weird fruit at snack time. Or even rearrange your desk toys in a funky way. These tiny shakes break the routine just enough to wake your brain up, creating those fresh memories that stretch time out.
Like, if I always walk the same way, but one day I cut through the park instead, would that make the walk feel longer?
You bet it would. That park detour, spotting a squirrel chasing its tail, or hearing birds you never noticed before. Those details get logged in your mental album. Suddenly, what was a 10-minute trudge becomes a story you replay. Remember when I found that shiny rock? It's not about big trips. Small adventures pack the punch. I tried this myself a few years back when my days were dragging in a dull teaching job. Instead of the usual lunch, I'd sketch quick doodles of the clouds outside my window. Those silly clouds, puffy dragons or lopsided faces, turned boring breaks into vivid blips. Looking back, that year felt fuller, not zipped by.
Sketching clouds? That's easy. But what if I'm too busy with homework and stuff? Can I still fit it in?
Absolutely, because these tricks don't steal time, they multiply it in your head. Another one is reflecting on your day before bed. Grab a notebook and jot 3 things that stood out. Laughed at a joke in class, or finally nailed that skateboard trick. It's like pausing a video to savor the scene. Reflection builds connections between memories, making weeks feel more layered. My old student Emma started doing this at 11. She said her summers used to blur, but listing daily highlights, like catching fireflies or baking lopsided cookies, made them replay like a favorite movie. No more melting into sameness.
Jotting stuff down sounds helpful. Like it makes the good parts stick better?
Exactly. It cements them. And here's a fun one. Mix up your senses. Listen to a new podcast on the bus. Cook dinner with an odd spice. Or walk barefoot on the grass after school. Your brain loves variety. It slows down to process the unfamiliar textures or sounds, etching more snapshots. Think of it as upgrading from black and white TV to color. Everything pops. When I was stuck in a rut during a rainy winter, I challenged myself to notice one new smell each day. Wet earth, fresh bread from the bakery, even the sharp tang of pencil shavings. Those scents anchored the days, and poof, the season felt twice as long and lively.
Barefoot on grass? I tried that once, and the tickly feeling lasted in my mind all afternoon. So, these little changes really add up?
They do. Like collecting puzzle pieces that make the picture complete. But I know what you might be thinking. Will any of this actually stick as life gets busier and years pile on? The answer's yes, because it's a habit you build now, like riding a bike. As you grow, those skills keep time from rushing. Adults who do this swear by it. My friend Sarah, in her 40s, started a novelty jar. She writes ideas on slips, try a new recipe, stargaze on the roof, and pulls one weekly. Her weekends, once a blur of chores, now sparkle with stories. Time's not flying anymore, she says. It's dancing. You can start today, and it'll carry you through.
A novelty jar? That's cool. I could put in stuff like build a pillow fort at midnight, or learn a magic trick. Nothing I do will really change how fast time goes, though, right? I mean, clocks don't care.
But that's the beauty. Clocks tick on, but your experience of them? That's all yours to shape. These tricks don't stop the seconds. They fill them so full that when you look back, life's not a sprint, but a scenic hike with stops to admire the views. You've seen how routines compress and novelty expands. Now you have the tools to lean into the expand. Start small, stay curious, and time will feel like an old friend, lingering for chat, not bolting out the door. It's empowering, isn't it? Knowing you can make your days stretch just by choosing a little different.
Yeah, it is. I get it now. These ways to add new bits and think back make everything feel bigger and better, no matter how old I get. Thanks for explaining all this. I feel like I can grab onto time a little more.